This is the People Before Politics show, broadcast every Sunday at 6 p.m. Hosts Damon K. Jones and AJ Woodson bring you the news that impacts our community. Join us for unfiltered, unapologetic coverage of the stories that matter most. Black Westchester Magazine presents the People Before Politics show, the news with the Black point of view.
They taught us charity, never clarity. Now help the world while we suffer in the dark. Fighting for flags that don't feed our seeds, but can't build one school where our babies can read. We loud for the globe, but silent for home. No plumber, no coder, but a new iPhone. Our pain got turned to a marketing stream, march and scream, but no policy team, red or blue. Man, they both play roles. One lock us up, one leave us broke with hopes. Democrat, Republican, ain't changed the hood. Just new faces, same games, misunderstood. We vote, they win, then forget we alive. They fund everybody, we just try and survive. Our issues trend only after we die. Ain't no savior coming, it's us or goodbye. So I buy black, build back, soul in the earth. Each brick I lay, I honor the hurt. My grandma prayed for the day we be free, not just legally, but financially. Put the mask on first, then we lift the rest. If the block ain't strong, how we claim success? We ain't saviors, we survivors, building worth, time to love ourselves. Black America first, yeah, Black America first. Fix the house, fix the fam, let the blessings burst. Own the land, own the plan, put the people to work, no more mule moves. Black America first. We out of line, chasing likes, ignoring the home. It ain't fly if your daughter feel alone. We used to raise villages, now it's revenge. Talking about love, but we barely call friends. We gotta get back to black man and black queen. Not war in the house, but a kingdom scene. Husband and wife, raise life with direction. Not baby mamas and weekend connections. They broke us with policy, broke us with lies, made war between us, now we barely try. But if we don't rebuild that core in the house, the world outside gon' chew us out. I ain't anti nobody, I'm pro my kind. If our kids ain't safe, then I draw that line. Let them talk slick seat. We ain't here to please, we here to own, build, love, and plant trees. Are you ready to put your brand in front of the people who matter? Black Westchester Magazine is your platform. With over 90,000 monthly website readers and more than 250,000 YouTube viewers every month, we give your business unmatched exposure. From email blasts straight to our subscribers, to video commercials, website promotions, and targeted campaigns, we've got the tools to help you connect, engage, and grow. Whether you're a local business, a national brand, a rising entrepreneur, or just promoting an upcoming event, Black Westchester is where culture, community, and commerce meet. Contact us today or scan the QR code and start building with us. Don't just advertise, be part of the movement, be part of Black Westchester, be Blacktastic. Black America first. Yeah, Black America first. Fix the house, fix the fam, let the blessings burst. Own the land, own the plan, put the people to work, no more mule moves, Black America first.
Peace and blessings, everybody. It's Damon K. Jones, and welcome to the People Before Politics show, Sunday Rundown. And AJ is he's overseas, being the great hip hop artist that he is, and coming on to join me tonight is my brother from another mother. Brother Alan's here, Alan Glover. Welcome, my brother, all the way from Las Vegas.
We got us a win today.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Silver and black is at it.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
As long as this ain't gonna be a sugar high, and then we lose 9 straight.
Yeah, man. So how is it out there in Las Vegas, man? What's going on?
Well, it's interesting. You know, it's in that space once again. Like the summer 110-degree heat is now past. Now
Right.
it's like late heavy 80s, early 90s. You know, and you know, some people are adjusting to the messaging of of the national climate that Vegas is dead and the casinos are falling apart and they're too expensive, and you know what happened to the glory days when you know you could go for free, get drinks for free, eat for free, park for free. You know, it's like
When did we get on? When did we become a society of free?
it was the countenance of yesterday's ownership when Vegas mega hotels were like one person was identified as the owner, like Steve
Right.
Wynn owned the Wynn,
Right.
Sheldon Alderson owned the Venetian, you know, and
Right.
it became that, and the Maloofs owned the Palms, you know, it became
Right.
that source of relationship. Now these are companies, so it went from, let's say, the mob to the single person ownership to
Right.
now companies, and now the companies are like, we're in bed with Washington, so we you know we need to turn profit on top of profit on top of profit. Plus, this is the first time I would say in Las Vegas, in the name, like I always use this as an example. If you're in New York City, imagine if New York was broadcasted as Times Square only.
Right.
If it was
Right.
everything was based about Times Square, you can live in any borough, but the only source of energy was Times Square.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, Times Square, you know, Bubba Gumps all of a sudden raised their prices, and you know, the Toy Star raised their prices, and you
Yeah.
know, standing out taking pictures, you now got to pay a fee to take pictures. So
Right. Right.
you know, it is what it is, but it's the fact that professional sports and an overdue infrastructure worth billions and billions of dollars has and is in its way and on its way to the desert. And in the process, you made people move to Vegas.
Right.
They bought those homes. Then BlackRock, or the other group, I can't remember, Blackstone or BlackRock,
Yeah. BlackRock.
3/4 of the homes in Vegas are owned by BlackRock. So in
Wow.
the name of home ownership, you got to be like, hey, you know, I left LA, Chicago, Philly to come to desert because I think I'd own some property. But you all are trying to arm wrestle with Miami. And
Right. Right.
you know, the days of owning something is now the days of renting and leasing something.
Exactly. Exactly. And we're gonna talk later in the show. You know, in New York, I can only speak on New York. Even the days of owning something is not even good when you have all these property taxes and taxes on your home. And we're gonna get into that because I'm gonna talk about that. So for the show, everybody that's watching, we're gonna talk about Carmelo Anthony's induction into the Basketball Hall of Fame. Listen, if y'all are weak-minded, turn the show off. I'm gonna tell you that right now. My partner AJ ain't here. If y'all are weak-minded, just turn the show off. If y'all not dealing in outcomes and logic and common sense, you know, it's okay. I'm not going to be offended. Even out like that, turn the show off.
Man, go. You said something. You got off on the wrong floor. You need to go. You get back on the elevator, go to the other floors. Go.
Exactly.
You're like, no, it's the floor I'm supposed to be on.
Exactly, because we're the Democratic Party shrinking base, a lesson of consequences, not intentions. Mayor Eric Adams is he making the right choice? We're gonna talk about that too. New York State AG Letitia James tries to reinstate Trump's $500 million fine, making America healthy again at a cost when Big Pharma funds the referees. Why Black America is missing in the tech field, state taxes, and Black seniors. Sharpton's march on Wall Street. I got a lot to say. I got to say about that. And 7 o'clock, 6:30, we're gonna have Young Dread. He's bringing comedy back to Peekskill, y'all. For all y'all living in Westchester area, he's bringing comedy back to Peekskill. And my good friend Martin Dolan's coming on, and we're gonna talk about. I'm gonna save Eric Adams till when he gets on, because we want to talk about all the New York City politics and Mandami and the dynamics that's going on with that. But let's start off with Carmelo Anthony.
Carmelo Anthony, New York's own, is officially a Hall of Famer. After 19 seasons in the NBA, over 28,000 points, 10 All-Star selections, and one unforgettable 62-point game at Madison Square Garden, Melo now takes his rightful place in the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. From winning a national championship at Syracuse in 2003 to becoming a 3-time Olympic gold medalist with Team USA, Carmelo built a legacy that goes beyond championships. He built one of scoring, leadership, and cultural impact. What made this moment even more special? His son, Keon Anthony, presented him with his Hall of Fame jacket and ring, passing the torch from father to son, both connected through the game. Carmelo enters the hall alongside Dwight Howard, Sue Bird, Maya Moore, Sylvia Fowles, and the 2008 Redeem Team. A true New York legend, and now forever a Hall of Famer. Congratulations, Melo.
Big shout out to Carmelo Anthony on that, man. He definitely got his due. And he's doing a lot of great things in the podcast world now too, which everybody is getting into the podcast world, is getting oversaturated. You know, that's why I love Black Westchester, because we're just not we are actual newspaper. Like it's just not, we're just getting on giving common sense, or we're just giving commentary to something. We are literally an actual newspaper. So when you tune into this show, you go to blackwestchester.com. So big shout out to that, man. And you from New York, man. So I know you got to be happy for the brother Allen.
Absolutely. I mean, look, Melo, he's one of the players that I wish had won a title.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wherever he was, if he was in Denver or Miami or New York or wherever he decided to play, I wanted him to win a title. I mean, he's a scorer persona non grata, tough as nails. I don't think people realized how strong Carmelo was, because he was one of those players. Sometimes, people forget, like when a person's really enjoying what they do and they start smiling, whether they play basketball or football, it kind of connotates like, oh man, they just, they go through the motions. People don't realize Carmelo had multiple skills, albeit some people would say he's greater offense, lack of defense. But like you said, it's a wonder and a beautiful thing to see former athletes like Carmelo and Marbury and others become great entrepreneurs, have become great spokespeople for the game, ambassadors for the game. Because I remember at one time, I think, D, you remember, athletes weren't speaking. And right. It was the commentators that were doing all the speaking on the athletes.
Right.
And I'm sure the athletes were getting their private thing, like, what the F did so-and-so say? Man, has he even played the game? Who is this person to speak? Who is that person to speak?
Right.
And I know that there's a good friend of mine in Atlanta. He used to really marshal that, hey, man, people need to hear, like me and you sitting here right now, or in the barbershop, or in the living room, or in the bone room in cats' houses. And there's this very lively conversation that's happening with athletes. And it's like, hey, man, you all need to get in front of the camera and speak. Right. Well, speak it into existence. Now you've got, You've got a big chunk of former and present athletes, podcasts and TV announcers and the rest. But I don't mind that, because if you speaking and you are an author of what you do, I want to hear from you. There's a lot of people just speaking it that never did it, but I want to hear from people who've done it. So
Exactly.
Salute to Carmelo from me.
Yep. Hey, and my partner's in the room. I didn't think he was coming on, man. I thought he'd be out there living the rap tour life. I guess he said, I'm 60 years old. I ain't doing none of that stuff, man.
So I had to I just got off a IG live with the London market to promote the show. The guy who's opening up for us, he's like a big underground London artist, and he got a big following out there in London. So we was like promoting the show to his market, so they could sell them tickets. I mean, I get paid either way, but I want to pack house if I can get a pack house.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, man. So
yeah, I won't be around next weekend. Next week, so Thursday or Friday, I'm flying to Atlanta. So we're gonna do that last, good weekend of rehearsals all weekend, and then I'm coming back next Monday.
Oh, I thought you was. Wait a minute, you still in the States?
The 17th. We leave the 17th.
I thought you was gone, man.
No, we leave on the 17th, but I'm leaving. I'm going to for rehearsals.
Man, I thought you was gone, bro.
I'm leaving the 17th, bro.
I was texting you, man. I said, oh, man, I didn't hear from you. And I said, oh, man, he must have just landed. And I'm
no.
Man, you're doing a trap show in Atlanta.
No, we're not doing no show in Atlanta. We just my partner lives in Georgia, so we're gonna get that last rehearsal, in-person rehearsal. We just did the show in Long Island for the Video Music Box Experience for 12,000 plus people. That was beautiful. On the same stage Rakim took afterwards, which was a pleasure, and we rocked. And so yeah, now we just gonna get that, work out the little kinks or whatever, work out the last little bit. We're gonna have like a rehearsal boot camp, like all weekend long. So yeah,
good. That's what's up, man.
Much success to you, man, on that. Awesome, absolutely.
Our
awesome.
37-year anniversary, and I'm honored that people still want to see and hear. When we took the show in Long Island, that was our first show. We took the stage together for the first time since '92 together. Wow. So it was like, we got that first one out the way now. Now we ready. Like, what I'm saying? We got that first one with some hometown love in Long Island where the song was made, so that was a beautiful thing. Now we ready to go. So I'm doing all the promotion and stuff and everything and getting all the last minute stuff. And you got to get the electrical block thing. So you got to change, because you can't plug your electricity into London. And the Netherlands and London got two different ones. So I had to get both of those. So you got all that stuff, all that fun stuff. So,
But there's an article on Black Westchester I did about how.
I just want to say my few words on Carmelo. I heard what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yo, when Carmelo came to the Knicks, first off, what he did with Syracuse was great, and what he did for Denver was great. But when he came to the Knicks, as a lifelong Knicks fan, he brought that excitement. That, like, the excitement that we have now, we haven't seen since Carmelo was here. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was some years in between we were like, oh my God. Like, we had those championship aspirations and all that when Carmelo was here. He dropped that 62 that time. I think it was the most scored by any Knick to this day at the Garden. And it was a rich class because it was him, LeBron, and Dwayne Wade. That was like who's going to be Rookie of the Year that year. Like, that was that. They were like the first, and Dwayne first got the first title. But it was running between LeBron and Carmelo all year. Who was going to get that Rookie of the Year? So I mean, that says something to his testament of who he is. And like Alan said, I'm happy to see him doing the podcast thing, especially when he broke down. He talked about what the Knicks need to do, and I was telling my sister, his assessment, the way he sees the court, his court vision was better than any analysis I heard from anybody on ESPN or any of the talking heads, because he'd been there. And he also knew what it takes to play in that Garden. Like, for a New York athlete, it takes a lot to be a New York athlete. Reggie Reggie Jackson found that out. He got cheered and booed the same day. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, when he hit the three home runs in the World Series, and he got booed like later. Like, I'm just like, so it's hard to play in New York. So he knows what it takes. He's played there, and his assessment was right on point. Like, literally, I was like, if he ever decided to get in any kind of a coaching, he can teach the game well. His assessment was that great. And to hear him talk about it, I was like, yo, I'm really feeling that. Like, you know, he wasn't just talking to be talking, you know. So that's very important to have voices who walk that walk. And how can you argue with him with what he's done? Like, you know, he knows what he's talking about. You know what I'm saying? So, and to see him, I added the speech to your article because you didn't have the speech. I put the video in earlier today, so you could see and you know his video, his acceptance speech.
I had downloaded the speech, but I didn't want to get.
No, it's on YouTube. It was already on YouTube. I just took a YouTube video and just added.
But when you put it into our video, like the NBA, certain things that I don't want to get a strike, right?
Because, for the monetization, yeah.
So I didn't put it in there because, but if you just shared the actual NBA in the article, you know, it is what it is. But
because I didn't download theirs. I just shared their actual video. So So, but yo, shout out to Carmelo. He's well deserved. I'm glad he got recognized, Allen, because when they said he was up for it, I know we all think he's worthy, but you know, those people who vote, some people that are worthy don't get that vote. And I was worried that he wasn't going to get that first chime in because other people, you know, he didn't win no championships and those other, you know, intangibles that they look at. And I was like, you know, those people who vote are not players. You know what I'm saying? So there's been a lot of people who've been snubbed their first time that was worthy of it. So I was worried, and I'm glad he got his due. And yo, congratulations. And he's doing his thing right now. I think he got some businesses he's doing, some business stuff he's doing. And it's good to see him get his due finally. Like, you know.
Yeah, man.
Isn't he like a part owner of a South American soccer team or something?
Something like that. He's something crazy.
Yeah, that.
And there's rumors all over the internet.
Is everywhere. I'm like, every time you see him, like, there's 1800 bottle in his hand.
Yeah. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to market your own stuff in your own programs.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Let's go on to
his interviews, not just with basketball players. His interview with Cat Williams was great. Like, him going back and forth with Cat.
That was a good one.
He can do that whole podcast thing, not just sports. So and he's a real dude. Like, when you talk, you can feel him. You can identify with him. He's not one of the people that you'd be like, what the hell is he talking about? Like, it's just real in all situations. So anyway, we could talk about him forever. I just wanted to go because Melo was my man when he was here. Melo and Amari. That was like the team, man. It was like, yo, Stoudemire, that was the team.
So let's go on to, we want to talk about the next story is very important for young people and older people, especially in New York, when it comes to property taxes, because when the foreclosures on seniors, especially Black seniors, it's property taxes. So this is something, let me just play a video, and I want to get so people can understand how the problem happens.
There was a time when paying off your mortgage meant freedom. But in New York, that promise is broken. Even after the bank is gone, property taxes mean you never truly own your home. Miss a payment, and the government can seize it. In Westchester County, the average tax bill tops $13,800 a year, the highest in the nation. Seniors living on fixed incomes are hit the hardest. They worked a lifetime, paid off their homes, and yet they're being forced out, not by banks, but by the state. And Black families bear the heaviest burden. Generations locked out of fair housing now face never-ending tax bills that strip away wealth and stability. This is why families are leaving New York by the thousands every year. Until we end this governmental burden, seniors will keep losing homes and generational wealth will keep disappearing.
So for people that's watching, I just wanted to explain it. When my mother bought her condo, it was $99,000. That was in Greenberg. It was a 3-bedroom, $99,000. That same condo right now goes for $600,000 in White Plains. So imagine you pay $99,000, you pay off your mortgage, your $99,000 mortgage, and you retire. And you retire off a salary back then. And you get your little Social Security check, you get your little extra $2,000 of your Social Security check. Now the value of your house is growing. You don't have a mortgage on it, but the value of your house is growing. Your property taxes is based on what the value is, not what you paid on your mortgage. So as time goes on, you're not getting any raise from your pension, or Social Security don't give you no raise. So then the tax bill on the house that you paid off is becoming a bigger burden. It's like you're renting to the government. And nobody wants to talk about it because a lot of these older Black people are losing their homes. And when you lose your home, what happens? You lose generational wealth. Because the biggest American dream is what? Buying and owning a home. Anybody want us to comment on that? I wanted to lay the foundation for people that are watching on why this is very important.
Well, I mean, remember what you said, and I'll echo it. When my parents moved from the city up to Westchester, and the house that they were able to purchase based on their salary and savings, but the salary for the most part, today, when they sold that house,
I know. Exactly.
I mean, I don't even have to go any further with it. And,
exactly.
But if you remember, like AJ out there in Long Island, a lot of folks, a lot of us's, the roots are in the city. And then our parents moved to Westchester, moved out to Nassau, etc., to get that house. They didn't want to stay in the city.
Right.
But that achievable element was almost not sustainable post 2 generations.
Right.
So in the process, I'll say this. I would love to see the number of Blacks that were able to purchase homes in like the late 70s, early 80s, let's just say that, compared to Blacks that were able to purchase homes today. And see has that number grown? I would be surprised if it grew.
I don't think so.
I like to see the number. My parents got their house in Long Island, 72, about $75,000. I like to see the number of the people who got houses back then, whose families still own those houses now.
Right.
That's another, because I don't own that. Like, we don't own that house no more. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
We don't have that house. Like,
but
so our counterparts that don't look like us, they got to step up because they get a house that came from their parents or their grandparents, and they already starting on a higher ground because they got their ownership already. You know what I'm saying? As we're coming out trying to figure it out, our kids are trying to figure it out now.
Well, I mean, think about it. D, AJ, and I'll be very brief. Mm-hmm. We come from lineage of families that owned land in the South. Not just the house in the South, but house and land that Hiltons, Sheratons, Marriotts, you name it, all wanted those lands because those lands were either Atlantic Oceanside properties that we owned the house, but just like the rest, sometimes you own the house and the land you sell the land or give the land to a strip mall, then they put a supermarket in, and you don't realize that, hey, that land that's under that supermarket was owned by us. You just didn't know. So in the process, that level of ignorance, and in the process not knowing how to kind of keep the wealth moving, because what's been the message that has been brought to us? You have children. This is the land we own. Yeah, that's the land you own, but I want to go do something else different. Well, that's where things get choppy, because they don't look at Trump's family. You don't hear none of those kids saying, yeah, Dad, I see what you're doing, but I'm going to go do something different. I want to join the circus. I want to be, what's it called? Real Husbands of Atlanta or something. I'm just saying, let me live my life. Well, that's the issue, because in the process of chaining generational wealth and constantly moving that train, sometimes you have to train us so that we know what to do when it's our turn, so that we're not going way off the beaten path and saying, hey, I want to go pick rice in Hawaii. Let me go live my life. And you got 80 acres in the South, and you want your son to kind of take that on and inherit and move it forward. Nah, I want to just grow pineapples in Honolulu. Let me live my life.
Right.
That's where things start breaking down. That's where stuff starts getting messed up.
Right.
I am happy to say, I want to add one thing. So my mom didn't pass that house down to me. I didn't have a house to pass down to my daughter. But I am proud that my daughter a year and a half ago just bought her first house in her 30s. So she was able to.
And that's
so I'm even though I wasn't able to pass nothing down to her, she was able to obtain her own her own house, and I'm proud of that. Because again, my mother and father owned the house. They didn't have it to pass down to me. You know what I'm saying? I ain't have no house to pass down to my daughter, but she was able to get her first house. She's in Douglasville in Georgia, and she got her first house about a year and a half ago. So she kind of broke that cycle a little bit, and hopefully it will continue on. But I'm happy for that, even though I had no part in that.
Absolutely. I just wanted to comment to the comments that were made. No, New York taxes your home until you're dead. You get a certain age, and that's why we have this conversation, because seniors are losing their homes. When you go to the city, seniors are losing their homes. And New York, Westchester County is the highest tax county in the nation. In the nation, you pay more property taxes in Westchester County than in any other place. You could go down south, you ain't going to pay as much property taxes as you're going to pay here. It's like $13,000.
Yeah, I'm paying 15.
See, well, you in Mount Vernon, right?
No, I'm in Austin.
You in Austin and pay 15?
I'm in Austin and I'm paying $15,000, a little over $15,000 a year.
Wow. See, but what happens, Dred? When you retire, you're on a fixed pension. Now you become a renter to the state.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you become a renter to the state.
How many times is one person taxed? If you're working, they're taxing you, right? Say now you own the building that that's your business. You're paying taxes on that. You're paying taxes for the business. You're a homeowner. You're paying taxes. You're going out buying gas, whatever you're buying, you're paying taxes. How many times is America, you're going through tolls, you're taxed, whatever you do is taxed. You as one individual in America is taxed. How many times?
Uh-oh, Dred, you broke up. Dred, you're making a good point. You froze there, brother. You was making a good point and froze.
Mr. Freeze, get you like that every time.
Exactly. But when Dred Dred, you froze. But he was making an excellent point that we're taxed. you know, and I think and I hope like people will start asking politicians, you know, because if you're paying all those taxes and you're not getting services, how you gonna pay $13,000 in taxes and you come outside your house and your tires are stolen on your car? You know what I'm saying? Like those are the things that we're not really having conversations, real conversations about our money. And in New York State, they're in a deficit.
Like California. California's in the same deficit. You know, there's a New York. If New York is Muhammad Ali, California is Joe Frazier, and they both are just hitting you with federal, state, local, city, county. You get hit with all of it.
Exactly. And what's crazy is if you got a business, the philosophies are different. Up here in Orange County, you got a food truck, you just get one permit. That's it. Westchester, they want you in any city, you get one permit for the whole county. Westchester, you got to go into different cities, you got to get different permits.
It's crazy.
What's the point of having a permit from the Department of Health, but then you got to go, because me and my wife went to the health department here in Orange County. So we was like, all right, so we got to go. And she was like, no, sir. Once you get this permit, you pull up wherever you want to pull up, as long as it's not private property, and sell your stuff.
So you're saying, just to repeat, in Westchester, you have to get a permit, Mount Vernon permit, Yonkers permit, New Rochelle permit, White Plains permit. Exactly.
Orange County, you get one permit and you pull up where you want to pull up, as long as it's not private property.
You think that's the way it is in the city?
Huh?
You think that's the way it is in the boroughs? Like you got to get a Brooklyn permit or a Harlem permit?
I think New York City is New York City. So you just up in New York City. I believe now. If anybody knows better, please correct me. But I believe, New York City is an entity, so you don't have to get the individual. Like, I believe. But again, don't let me be misquoted. If somebody has that information, please correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, that is crazy. That you just got to get it for the county, and here you got to get it for every municipality.
No, it's crazy, but I mean, it's different philosophies of governing. I don't want to set nobody off. People that's watching, they start going crazy. It's just different philosophies of governing. I'm going to switch up till young Dreg come back on. It's just of governing, and that's the thing. But there's no real conversations being had in New York about how we're being taxed and mismanaging the money. Right? There's no consequences or repercussions. How are you taxing me this much? And you're misrepresenting the money. How did they pay $445,000, $445 million overtime in the New York State Department of Corrections, how are you spending all this money and you have National Guard working?
Hey, Cyborg, your voice is cracking.
I thought that was my Wi-Fi. I just wanted to double check. I was like, yeah.
No, I don't know what that. All of a sudden, he turned from Damon Jones to Cyborg.
Yeah. You started sounding like pixelized.
Yeah. When I touch with this mic, man, I got to figure out. Did I sound better now?
Yeah.
Westchester.
No, we can hear you clearly. Your boy's back too.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to bring him back in. Yeah, welcome back, brother.
Respect due every time. Where
Huh?
were we? Listen,
You were making some valid points, and
You was making some valid points, man.
they wanted to shut you down.
I just know everything.
Yeah, the algorithm wanted to shut you down. He ain't want you giving out that knowledge.
Yeah, they don't want us to talk. See, these are the conversations they don't want black folks to have. You know, when we talk about financing and money and businesses.
That's right.
You know, they don't want us to have these conversations because then we'll see that the game is really being played. You know, and I personally think property taxes is a Ponzi scheme.
It is a Ponzi scheme. And go by state and you look at it because like I said, we are all paying so much. It should become a point in time where they let me know it may be November or December. So listen, man, we don't tax you enough. You're tax exempt for the next 2 months.
Exactly.
Because we don't tax the hell out of you. So now you want to put me out to pasture where I can no longer perform. And now I'm in jeopardy of losing my house. And say I spent $10 million for my house, right? Let me go back on my house $2,000 or $3,000 and can't pay. I'm gonna get a lien against my property to kick me out.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. It's
exactly. And that's the crazy thing for people our age, right? To know that we're going to work hard to pay this mortgage off, and we're going to be, and then by default, we're renters of the state.
Yes, and that's the thing that's upsetting, and that you work hard your whole life, and now they put you in a position now where you're almost handicapped at the mercy of the very same government that you were supporting this whole time. And it's sad, man. It's sad.
Let me tell you something. I'm not voting for nobody if they ain't talking about getting rid of. No, and listen, it doesn't matter. Democrat, Republican, Independent, Puritan Party, whatever you want, patriots, whatever you want to call yourself.
Right.
If you come to my door, knock on my door, and you want my support, I'm going to say, well, what is your view on property taxes?
Yeah.
And if they give me some runaround, good night, sir. Good night, ma'am. Because my thing, I'm not voting for you if you're not going to understand that you're making us a renter of the state.
Yes.
And the same banks, corporations give them money to make us renters of them.
The whole thing is an illusion. The whole thing to me is an illusion because, like I was saying, you spent money to buy a home, but you don't really own it.
Exactly.
If I don't pay you, if I don't pay off like the mob do, F you pay me, right? If I don't pay the property tax, the school tax, and stuff like that nature, you mean that the money I still spent for my house free and clear, I don't really own, I can still pay you.
Exactly.
I my car, I own my car. It's sitting there in my driveway. If it's sitting there for 20 years, I own that car. I ain't got to pay anything on it unless I try and put it on the road. But my home, as I own it now, and I pay you clear, I have to still pay the government all these taxes attached to my home. And if I don't, I'm in problems. So it's a joke. It's not, because communism, it's full outright. You don't own nothing. You don't own. In America, they fool you like as if you own. You know what I'm saying? Have your face. That's what I'm saying. We have to realize that, man. What did we do? It's so they got rid of every mobster, like Carlo Gambino, Luca Luciano, the heads of the Five family, the ones who helped them to win World War II. They said that prohibition. We got rid of all this number running, all that stuff right there. Now we play lottery everywhere. The government took everything out, and now they control it. And what's crazy that this is a joke. You play lottery, and then they have this this little thing at the end saying, if you have a gambling addiction, call this number. Right? How you can gamble, right? Do all these things, right? And alcohol, like that's going to help the situation for a gambler. There's a number for you to call.
You know, and then they made it worse because they took the most addictive behavior and they made it where you can go do it from the most addictive device.
Yes.
You know, you had to go to OTB to place your bet. You had to leave your house to go place your bet. Now you can sit there on your phone all day in your underwear and just go into debt and then keep going into debt and keep going into debt and keep going into debt. And like,
yeah,
it's, you know, and that's by design.
Yeah,
and
when I first
at all those commercials, they say it real fast. In New York State, if you have a problem, call this number. In New York State, in Jersey, you have a problem, call this number. And I'm like, you can't even write the number down. They say it like blah, 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 like real fast.
Yeah. Nah, it's a game, man. But we all gotta. I don't know. It's everyone waking up to it, and what can we do about it? And it's so big right now that what can we actually collectively?
We gotta start pressuring. We gotta start pressuring, man. I was thinking about creating a website, no more property taxes in New York.org or something, you know, because we have to have these conversations. And I don't know why black people, I don't know why any person, especially if you own property, is not having it. And it's not even, dude, it's not a party thing, right? You know, it's you worked hard for that piece of property. You don't pay taxes on, like you said, the car, my Peloton. I ain't paying taxes to Peloton every year, right? I ain't paying taxes to Apple every year. I paid my taxes and I own this free. It should be the same thing with the house.
Right.
Now, and we could, and what even Florida, and everybody's moving to Florida. Why? Because they have less taxes. But they have a larger population than New York. So if they can balance the budget with having a larger population in Florida, and some people say, well, they don't have a lot of services. Well, their services must be good enough because everybody moving down there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody,
no state taxes is a beautiful thing.
Exactly, because then you have more money in your pocket. Okay, they might. I don't even think they don't even have state taxes, do they?
No state tax. I'm telling
Exactly.
you, I found that out when LeBron and Chris Bosh went to join Dwayne Wade. One of the selling points so they could take less money to work together was there was no state taxes.
So there's no
that was
state
like a selling point for that. Like, yeah.
Right. There's no state taxes. They have minimum property taxes, and the governor was on talking about getting rid of that. He wanted to get rid of that. And they have a balanced budget. New York, we're taxed out the.
Yeah, we tax like crazy, and that's why even Trump is trying to tax the churches. They're trying to tax the offering plate, you know, which is crazy. But there's an attempt to tax the churches, right? The other thing too is that they were trying to tax the when you gave tip, you go out to eat, you tax the waiter or waitress. They were trying to tax the tips.
No, there's no tax on tips now.
No tax on tips now, but they was making an effort to, because again.
Well, that's only up to a certain amount. And it's only for 3 years. It's not forever.
Yeah, but you know what?
It's only for a certain amount, though. It's not like if you're making a lot in tax tips, it's up to a certain. There's a limit on that.
Yeah, but how much? I mean,
you can't do it through cash. Is if you go now and you write on the receipt that you're putting it in as part of the credit card bill.
Right.
That's different. But if you give cash, they can't really tax that. They were trying to make the owners have everyone put their tax money into a bucket, and that's now they calculate up, and that's when it can be taxed.
Well, some places they do that. Some places they do a pile. Everybody got to turn in the tip money.
Yeah.
And then some places, whatever the tips you get is whatever the tips you get.
Right.
You know, so it depends. I mean, it depends. Yeah, 3 years is up. But they'll probably keep it if I can't see Democrats or Republicans not renewing the no tax on tips and no tax on overtime, even if there's a limit to it. You know, I mean, it was hard to get through Rand Paul and them in the Senate. It was hard to get it through with Rand Paul because they wasn't feeling that. You know, so even Republicans were split on the no tax on tips and no tax on overtime, which is crazy.
Remember, they're getting paid from us. They're public servants.
Exactly.
So when they're going to tell you that they're not going to raise any taxes, that's how they're getting paid.
Exactly.
So it's like you can't expect so much from a politician to actually saying that they're trying to cut taxes and get rid of this, second, and third, because that's how they're getting paid their money. So they want to like minimize it any way they can because they still want you to pay taxes. You know
but you know, but if they could do it in other states, they could do it in New York.
No, they can't.
You know, and that's my point. There's no excuse. The only excuse is that y'all messing up the money. Y'all messing up the budgets. You know, and you're spending. Listen, I worked for the county for 33 years. They waste money. They waste a lot of money. Exactly. They waste a lot of unnecessary money. They have duplicate departments. They got all type of crazy stuff. Right? So I mean, it's crazy. Right? How do you have a payroll that's in the main county building, but then each department has a payroll?
Yeah.
Why do you have all these payroll departments?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? It really doesn't make any sense. You have one or two people in the main payroll that's handling a department. Why do you have all these payroll departments?
Like I said, it's a whole Ponzi scheme, and the whole thing you're talking about no tax being paid. Now, what if a whole county join in something you're talking about and don't pay no taxes? You're gonna lock everybody up. You're gonna mass in this, just take everybody's house. We vote as a Republican or Democrat, Independent, or whatever. Collectively, we can't come together to do something like that because people is different. When gas prices went up, there's some people said they can't pay it, but some people who can pay it, they're like, you know what, I can pay mine. So they're gonna go high gas taxes and go on.
Hey, Reginald, thank you for your comments, but I don't know how New York funds black businesses when we only have 2% of black businesses. I don't know how New York, hey, you gotta explain that, brother, because we ain't got no black businesses in New York. We got 2%. Westchester County has 2% of all black businesses. Is only 2% of black businesses. So I'm trying to figure out what is New York funding.
It's that illusion again.
Actually,
where, bro?
We're taxed. We're actually funding our own businesses because we've been taxed like crazy. So they're just using our own money to end up paying ourselves in that way as the illusion, as if they're giving us the money, but they're using my account number is my social security number. Right? That's the number that they put in when it's time for you to retire, see how much you have worked. So that is my account number. And by law, when you go to a job, you don't have to give them your account number, which is your social, but we do anyway. You can't get a job without giving them your social security number. You're not really supposed to because that's your bank account number. That's at the Federal Reserve. You know what I'm saying? But I can't go borrow to the federal government and say, hey, listen, man, I've been working all my life. I want to borrow 100 grand, 200 grand from myself. So when I retire, that's just less money that I got to look out for to come back to me. Negotiate a deal with me. They're not doing that. But it seems like they're supposed to. But it is my money that I've been working for. You've been taking from me all these years. You know what I'm saying? There's so many loopholes. There's so many things in the government that's holding us down. Pharaoh is not dead. Ramses is still alive. And they want us to make bricks out of straws. You know what I'm saying? This is what we're going through right now. It's serious out here. And people got to realize.
Right. Yo, I just want to say something. Because, all right, according to Pew Research, Florida has the most black businesses, then Georgia, then Texas, then California. New York is last.
I can see that.
New York, according to Pew Research. So I don't know where the information y'all getting that from, but Florida has the most black businesses.
And are those black businesses, black American businesses?
Oh well, it didn't go into all that.
That's like
the
fine print. Is it Dominican black? Is it Cuban black?
Right, and that right, because they could be adding that in,
right.
And that was Pew Research February 2025, and then the Lindio February 2024 is Florida, Texas, Georgia, California, and then New York. New York has the least black businesses.
New York. Wow. And you know what though? And 9% of that is in Harlem. You know what I'm saying? It's in Harlem. Because Westchester ain't got too many black businesses.
No, Westchester, listen. I did an article, bro. Westchester got 2% of black businesses. And the most black businesses in Westchester are in New Rochelle. Wow. New Rochelle has the most black businesses. They have more black businesses than Mount Vernon.
More than Yonkers?
Yeah, they have the most black businesses.
Really? Yeah, that is something.
Well, that's not what I'm saying. Let me see.
Send the article that you're reading, CKH. Put a link to your article in there so I can see what you're looking at.
Well,
states with the highest: District of Columbia, Georgia, Maryland, Mississippi, Louisiana, with the highest percentage of black-owned businesses. Top 10 black-owned businesses.
But let me ask you, isn't Delaware, the taxes is there's no taxes in Delaware?
Well, there's some is right and right because yep, and then it's something with the businesses in Delaware. They tell you to incorporate in Delaware. I'm not sure why.
Because someone's trying to get out here in Delaware because the taxes in Delaware is actually there is no tax really in Delaware, and you can start buying a property out there. The difference is that a lot of people don't want to deal with like septic tanks and stuff like that once you buy a home in the middle of nowhere. You don't deal with so much of the sewer taxes and municipalities. You got to put in your own sewer line and septic tank. And a lot of times people don't want to live like that because in case you lose power, you can't really use the bathroom or anything. You got to have a generator set up. And that changes the whole landscape and stuff. But people are doing it. Mostly white Americans are doing it. It's like in Bedford, Pound Ridge, a lot of properties out there, they're actually homes in the middle of nowhere. They build these mansions where they're away from everything. You know what I'm saying? And somebody said something to me one time. It's like they watched a movie about when the zombies come through and they come into the houses and stuff like that. That the zombies are not really so much zombies. It's the people who don't have. It's coming to those areas, knocking on doors, breaking in, trying to get the food and everything like that. Because they're being taxed out. They're being forced out of their homes, and they're not taken to the streets. Reason why slowly but slowly the poverty rate is getting higher, and people also losing their homes even more. Because what happens is that we are homeowners, we go ahead not paying high taxes, we in the grind, but then people who are renting, the landlord offset whatever taxes raised on them, offset onto their tenants. So they don't really pay it. So that's why you have the slumlords. They're just taking the money and run and putting everything onto the tenants. And then people who get in Section 8, they're paying Section 8 to the landlords. You know what I'm saying? They're the ones that's even the government now is paying their rent. and the homeowner, I mean the building owner, is not really paying anything. So I'll be subscribing the same tactics as used in that retrospect. You have more black people who is probably renting, but they can actually shut down a building and start putting that money aside to own properties. So one day they're not paying rent no more, they're paying mortgage. And then to a certain point, they're gonna be paying taxes. And that's what a lot of Jewish people did, like Lee Avenue in Brooklyn. They started out, that's part of it. They own these buildings. Like a Jewish guy told me, I own a piece of property in Staten Island. He told me, he was basically saying, I couldn't do what you do. My daughter will not know the meaning of paying taxes ever. I mean, paying rent ever. You know what I'm saying? Because what happened is that they buy the building and the property. Everybody in there is paying towards the mortgage until there is no more mortgage.
Right.
Now, all we pay is taxes, split up between everybody in the building. And black people owning like a city. Because you have
but see, that's cooperative economics, man. We don't teach that, and we don't make that part of our faith. You know, and that's one of the main reasons why we as black people are in the condition that we're in, because our cooperative economics, and we don't make it part of our faith. Like Jewish people, economics is part of faith.
It's part of faith.
And even in the Bible, if you read the Bible, economics is part of faith. Period.
Yes.
But we're not. It's just we rather follow Al Sharpton and march on Wall Street.
Yeah.
Talk about racism.
Yes.
Then teach our children how to invest in stock.
And to invest in stock. And I believe that the marching, it's funny you should say that, David, because marching in the streets to me was needed then.
Exactly.
Now, marching the streets, we got to do something different now.
Exactly.
60s,
Listen.
You know what I'm saying? 70s, 50s, marching was a big thing. Oh my God, it took to the streets. The streets are shut down. We got to do something. Now, let them march for a little bit. They'll die down and go back to business.
Oh, look at that nigga right there. Is he asleep?
It looked like that.
AJ, wake up.
AJ done, you know.
Yo, dude, he's gone.
Listen, we can probably welcome
There he goes.
Yo, Thomas Ray, what's up, brother?
Peace.
Well,
Peace. Can y'all hear me?
yes, yes, sir.
Excellent.
Yo, excuse my partner AJ for snoring on.
AJ, you dozed off on us, man.
AJ, listen, next time you have somebody right there throwing water on you like in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? Hit you up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, listen, the conversation, man, is real out here. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Welcome to the show, brother.
Yeah, this is the poet. You know what I'm saying?
Thank y'all for having me, man. Thank y'all for that. It's an honor. Yo, Dredd, what's up, my brother?
Listen, man, maintaining, man. I'm hanging out with these fellas out here, man. You know, we talking about politics before we get into the comedy and poetry. You know what I'm saying?
That's my dude, Tom Red.
Listen,
Hey, what up, brother?
What's going on, sir?
Peace.
listen. I just want to respond to Reggie because, see, here's my thing, right? And I'm going to make it clear because he's talking about black women losing their jobs and anything. Then you know what we have to do as black people? We have to develop businesses. We're the only ethnic group that don't employ their own. We look to others to employ us.
Right.
Pharaoh has let us go. I've been saying that since January 1st. Pharaoh has let us go. We got to stop complaining and figure out how are we going to start developing businesses, developing industries, getting our children in these trades. There are 800,000 open trade jobs right now, and we're not training our children for them.
No.
We have to develop skills. College education, I'm sorry, didn't do what it was supposed to do.
But it's the people. Some people using college education is like basically government realized that's what our drive is to be, and we have to know that we're going in there, not just be going for computer science or whatever you think it sounds good. But then we come out from school, it's like, what are you going to use that for unless you know your targeted point to using it for? What you come out with student debt. Now you might be working job making X amount, but you're paying back the student debt that is interest. You know what I'm saying? So on top of you getting that money to get your education, the government says we're going to use your ambition against you. So now with the schools in the state, we're also not paying interest on the money that you gave us. So it's a trap. So you're still paying right. You know what I'm saying? So we got to find a way to use school to our knowledge that benefits us, because I find out why is it that we go through all the school system from pre-K to high school, right? And it's funded. The moment you want higher education, there is no money for that.
Mm-hmm.
There's no money for that. Why is it? But you want to go ahead now, me support you, sending billions to other countries.
Ukraine and Israel and everybody else.
For war. Billions of dollars for, you want me to support that, but yet still, you want me to also pay for college. You still tax me while I'm doing that, by the way. I'm going to march and support that, and you're still taxing me. Listen, we can go all day with that, man. It's upsetting.
There's no excuse in 2025
right.
that we spend $1.7 trillion with the oppressor. There's in history.
Yes.
And you can't find no people in the history of this planet that spent money with their oppressor. This is what we do. You know, brothers saying that Jewish people go to top tier schools and all that. Well, listen, back in the day when we had Tulsa, we had all those great communities, they went to HBCUs. They didn't go to top tier schools. They wasn't allowed in those schools. But they still built those cities. That was the blueprint for black. It should have been the blueprint for black communities today, man. And we just been following a shepherd that is just taking us to the slaughterhouse instead of taking us to heaven.
Listen, you talk about Pharaoh still alive. Yeah, Pharaoh let us free, yes. But you know, when you watch that movie that they try to put together a nice storyline for the Bible, when they followed Moses into the desert, what happened? They turned against Moses. You brought us out here and we have nowhere to go. We have nothing to do. What do we do now? And even using that as part of what happened during slavery, when slavery was abolished, people didn't know what to do.
Exactly.
They stayed there. It was free, but they stayed there and still was picking cotton.
Somebody used an example one time. It's like Monopoly. You know, when they begin the Monopoly, they give you that $1,500 and you go. It's like when they let us go, it's like playing Monopoly without getting it for $1,500. So you might be able to get around a board once or twice. You ain't gonna be able to buy nothing, then you're gonna be out of the game.
That's it.
And that's just what happened. Like they wanted us to be able to do what we supposed to do. They got their $1,500, but we ain't get the $1,500. They just say, "Oh, you're free," and we were supposed to figure it out. And,
Well, we didn't push for it. You know, I mean, and understand the history. Even labor unions was started because white people didn't know how to build. We built the White House. We was building all those buildings down in Washington, D.C. And when they freed us, they had to pay us.
Yeah, but you know something. We talk about that all the time. I go to a couple of functions, and they always come down to Black Americans, white Americans, who is for the freedom of people. We still be talking about that same thing. We gotta stop talking about that and try to do some type of action and putting together and working together for a common goal. We basically don't do that. Because I go to different places and they always come back to what we built. You know, we put the blueprints of Washington, D.C. We the one that invented the fire escape. We invented the mailbox. You know what I'm saying? The first cowboy was Deadwood Dick. You know what I'm saying? We can go by and say we're the first for this, we're the first for that. I'm really tired of hearing that conversation. It's like we have to actually start doing something collectively. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm worried about my own brother when I'm walking streets of Brooklyn, Bronx, Westchester. You know what I'm saying to you? And if I'm wearing certain things or counting certain amount of money, I'm worried about my own people robbing me. That's the reality of it. I should be safe. When I see certain shootings going on, I don't see the KKK in there shooting, the skinheads, white supremacy groups. I don't see that. I've seen us as the one that's really damaging us, that we need to get involved and stop doing that. So we keep having this conversation. We have to actually stop having this conversation, man, and actually start doing something. And people stop talking about what happened yesterday. But it's like, what are we doing today? You know, and that's my thing when it comes to people telling me I don't really hang out too much with certain cats because I can't really hear that same conversation that everybody's just talking about what we did. And we built this and we did that. We got to start building something right now because the Ecuadorians and the Mexicans, the Peruvians, the Guatemalans, you know what I'm saying to you, who are not our enemies, they're just coming trying to survive. So we're here, but I've seen more contracting companies, and all of them is owned by the people that I just named, and they're not hiring us. And they're building. Right?
No, you're right. You absolutely. I mean, the areas that you mentioning. One of the things that and I agree with you because there's a lot of some of the first this and first that talk just drives me crazy sometimes when it's just, you know, we the first to do this, the first to have that, the first one to create this, and it's like now that was 130 years ago, and now, you know, today. Like you were saying, you know, I have this thing with Damon where we go over what we don't have, and we go over it as an inspiration. Because I can go into Lowe's and I can go into one of the Home Depot, and I'm like, man, we don't make nothing in here, like not even a screw,
nope.
not even a filter, you know, like. If there was like your name and you were, you know, the largest filter company in the Northeast and you hired 10,000 of us that look like us, it makes things a little different. But when considering our history, and yet we're so divorced away from what we once created. We don't even make a hammer. We don't make a screwdriver. We don't make a fan that you put inside the fan.
Whenever we
don't make the YKK zipper in every piece of apparel. We don't say, oh, that's my man with the glasses right here. Oh, he owns the YKK company and he hires 20,000 of us.
No, but we'll go ahead and we'll make Timberland a multi-billion-dollar company. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? We make glasses. We don't ski, but we made ski hat a part of our motto for the B-boy back in the 80s. We do a lot of things to promote. I don't drink Hennessy. None against them, but I don't have stock in it. But every place I've seen, the brother got the Hennessy bottle up and he's sitting on his table. Bruh, you ain't got no stock in Hennessy.
Wait. Before you go any further, I'm on the West Coast. Ain't no blood and Crip create no handkerchief. They don't create no khakis. They don't create Converse All-Stars. Right? So considering all of the great pictures that brothers take, all of that apparel, all of them belts, all made by somebody else.
Yes. And that is when it says made in America, we should have something made by the black man. And it's like, I'll have to tell you, as a black man, no. You can see I'm a black man. You somebody that I'm a black man, as a strong black woman, but no. We need to change that. Me and the mayor, the old mayor at in Mount Vernon, Ernie Davis, we just sit down and talk about this all the time. We have to start marketing ourselves a lot differently, right? We have to convince others that who we are, like we don't know who we are, right? So what you're saying is a valid point, You know what I'm saying to you, that we are basically promoting everything else.
That's
we're
right.
capable of, but we're not. And we're supposed to support each other, and we don't. And one thing I want to do too, basically, is that for those who have college degrees, don't be where the person doesn't have college degree, that we can't come together and make stuff happen.
Exactly.
Don't be the field slave and the house slave. Don't be the college, the house slave, and the non-college person, the field slave. So therefore, we're not going to come together to say, you know what? Let's support each other. You went to school and you got the education to be an entertainment lawyer or professor, wherever, and a business, whatever. But I can do the work. Let's get together. I'm gonna do the work, and you do that part of it, and we're gonna marry it up and do whatever. We're still allowing society, the way they set up the oppressors, to still keep us divided. So then we can't make the T-shirt. You know what I'm saying? We can't make the handkerchief. You know what I'm saying? We can't get together. We can't go to where Frank Lucas said, you know what? If I want XYZ, I'm gonna go to over there and get it. So this way, I got the good stuff. So let's go to Bangladesh and make a deal with them down there, bring the material here, and do XYZ. But we're not doing exactly what you're saying, Damon, as far as economically teaching the youngsters growing up about economics.
No, we have to, bro. And this is gonna segue into this video here, and we'll talk about it. About there was just a big meeting in the White House with all the tech giants. Was one black man there because we don't own no big tech company.
Black America is missing in tech.
But
at President
man
Trump's dinner, Apple pledged $600 billion, Google $250 billion, and Microsoft tens of billions each year to dominate artificial intelligence. The room was filled with power, but no black presence. The numbers tell the truth. We are 13% of the population, but only 5 to 8% of the tech workforce. Fewer than 2% of tech companies are black-owned, barely 3% of executives. Yet we spend $1.7 trillion a year, including $39 billion on electronics, almost entirely as consumers, not owners. Every black person has a cell phone, but there is no black cell phone company. Every black person has a laptop, but no black computer company. Now, America is racing ahead in AI, and once again, we risk being left behind. Marches won't close this gap. We need leaders with a plan to train, fund, and prepare the next generation. The future of Black America depends.
So why? Like why? And I joke around and I say, if like we talk about racism, we talk about it, but at the end of the day, if the white man disappear tomorrow, we'll be sitting in a lot. We'd be sitting, if he disappeared tomorrow with everything that he owned, we'll be sitting in lots, and some of us will be butt naked. Yeah. Because we don't make anything. We have to have these conversations instead of marching on Wall Street talking about racism.
No,
Wall Street doesn't make laws.
It goes back to what we're saying. I mean, we get behind that, but we want to also, because I know that I have to take care of a few things, and Tom Ray, I'm not sure his schedule. Like, I wanted to also.
Oh yeah. Let's talk about the event before we get back in. Yeah.
Because we gonna be. This is an interesting topic we talking about right now, and I'm very passionate about it. That's why I didn't say anything before, in regards to that, but I did want to bring up the fact that I have a comedy show happening at the Dramatic Hall. This is a commercial break. I had a comedy. I have a comedy show happening at the Dramatic Hall in Peekskill, New York, September 13th. It's a nice theater. I have Smokey Suarez. I also have Imagine the Comedian. I have Sophie's Dope, and it's hosted by my brother Cool Bubba Ice. You know what I'm saying? And it's supposed to go down, like I said, September 13th. Doors open at 7 p.m. Showtime's at 8. So all the viewers, people looking in, come out and support. I'm trying to bring more comedy on this side of the bridge and this area, instead of being north in Harlem and Jersey, in Westchester. And also, On September 19th, I have a spoken words event happening, hosted by my guy right there, Tom Ray. Tom Ray, take that part of it right there, please, if you don't mind.
Yes, indeed. Yes, the Spoken Rhythm and Blues Artist Showcase, September 19th, brought to you by Frog Eyes Entertainment and Ray's Vision Entertainment, hosted by yours truly. And we got some phenomenal performers that's going to hit that stage as well, man, coming from Harlem, coming from Brooklyn, coming from Yonkers, all the way up the peak scale, man, to bring some incredible talent up that way, man. So I'm excited, man. And like I shared in the chat earlier, I'm not sure if you guys seen, man, but collaboration is key, man. You know what I mean? To make a huge difference in our community. I think we definitely, we're not strangers to collectively working together, but we've gotten away from it. So I think that, you know, as we revitalize collaborating and collectively curating events, organizing institutions, I think that we can make a huge difference, and we will make a huge difference in our community, and we have to strategically do it. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it's that we have so many odds against us as the melanated ones, man. So we definitely got to be wise about it. We got to be strategic about it, and we got to order our steps. So you know, it's September 19th, September 13th, man. This is all. That's what it's all about. Establishing community within the arts and making a difference, man. Because I'm a huge believer that I feel that art can unify us and will unify us, and it has done so in the past years, and it's doing it now as we speak. Maybe not as much as we wanted to, but you know what I mean. It's unifying us.
No doubt. Yo, Damon, shout out to my man Tom Ray. I met him when I went to Bougie Brews the first time to set up our book signing. He was doing the thing outside. They had their books out there and everything. And I've been following my brother since then, and he's doing a lot of work. He's putting in work. I see him everywhere, Yonkers Arts, everywhere I see this brother doing the damn thing. So I just want to give him a shout out. Give him a shout out, yeah.
No,
AJ, I appreciate you, brother.
No doubt.
The thing to add to that too is that, not to go back, well, it's going to go back to there, but to the fact that we go and we always ask the next man if we can do events at their location. They put their money in, they get it all set up, and here we come asking them for that. Going back to what Damon was saying as far as getting together and doing something, it's like, why can't we have our own facility and get all the promoters to come together and we all promote at this particular location? That location would be packed every day.
You know what's crazy? I want to interrupt you. Where I met this brother was a black-owned coffee shop in Yonkers, and we didn't support it. And they have stuff like that, and now there's another business there. This is a great business. You know what I'm saying? We did not support it, and then they opened a Starbucks, and they made their own beans and everything. This was a great company, and now everybody went to Starbucks and got the overpriced coffee over there and put them people out of business. We did not support that. We had our own company where we could have events like what you did and what I did, and they had other things. They had a lot of things going on there. But when we have when we have businesses like that, we don't support them. And then after they're gone, we say, "Oh man, we need some businesses." When we have them, we don't support them.
We don't support them. We don't support them. The whole thing too. A lot of our people don't want to see like we're taking their money. I'm not going to give this man my money. You can give Starbucks your money, but it's going to hurt you to come and pay and buy the coffee from me.
Yeah, Bougie Brews was a well-owned black establishment, man, where they gave me the opportunity as well as AJ to curate some beautiful events there, man. And you know, that we were building a great rapport, a great establishment, and you know, one of the things that the owners was telling me as well is that like the lease got too expensive for them, and I know that it was intentionally from the city as well, because they have another conglomerate, they have another ethnicity in that same brick and mortar now, and of course it's of a different descent, you know, and I know for a fact that they're being a little bit lighter on them than they were on us. You know what I mean? So it's unfortunate, but it's collaboration, man.
It's serious times. It's serious times, but we don't have to be that serious. Just laugh about it. But in the meantime, doing so, we in Tom Way, we try and do more and more stuff with the comedy, the spoken words, and self-expression that we also doing too. People come up and just talk about their own therapeutic ways of getting through some stuff, because people in the audience is going through it as well. You know what I'm saying? And that's the reason why when I definitely want to speak to Damon AJ as far as coming on the show, talking about comedy, spoken words, and also mental toughness and anxiety that we go through as men, as black men, trying to hold down and do what we need to do and support each other. You know what I'm saying? That's what we need to do more of, because we are basically out here supporting, like a brother was saying, everything. Crips, Bloods, whatever. You got the khakis, you got the bandanas. You know what I'm saying? You're in the club talking about you're balling and you're spending all this money at the bar, and you're basically putting up, all the Hennessy bottles you want, this, that, and third. You know what I'm saying to you? But you own no stock in nothing. But to come out now and say, brother, have a T-shirt that's supporting, say, Black Westchester magazine, buy a T-shirt, bro. I ain't got it. But you wearing Air Jordans, Nike, whatever. You got the
exactly.
You got like maybe $1,000 worth of clothes on you and jewelry, but you can't spend $25 to buy yourself a Frog Eyes T-shirt or a Tom Ray entertainment. You can't do any of that. You know what I'm saying? Because you think I'm gonna get richer than you. So Damon, it's so deep. That within ourselves is the problem. And if you don't internalize that and come out and be like, I'm gonna give this man my money. I'm gonna go out here and support. I'm gonna watch your program. I'm gonna come see Tom Ray, which is like, his poetry is off the chain. People gotta come out 19th and check out how he puts stuff together. And when he's out, matter of fact, Tom Ray, you also received an award out there in Yonkers for what's it, Icon Awards?
Yeah, from Yonkers Fashion Week, man, the Community Icon Award. Phenomenal achievement, and I'm honored to be recognized within my city, man. And it's a beautiful thing to be recognized in other cities now as well, man. So yeah, the Community Icon Award, man, but I'm more about interacting with the people, man, engaging with the people, man. I'm not too concerned about those accolades like that, to be honest, man. But I'm appreciative, but I'm all about the work, man.
I was trying to go. I got off the screen a little bit. I was trying to pull up your book and go get his book. We need to support our Black authors, and I couldn't get it in time, so I didn't want to take too long. But
yeah, I'm getting ready to publish my 4th book as well, man. The Thoughts of Ray of Light trilogy, man. So socially relevant poetry, and I'm looking forward to blessing the community, blessing many cities with that book as well, man. And the up and coming collaborations that me and Dredd got coming up, the different collaborations with many others as well, man. So looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, so I'm Frog Eyes Entertainment, and my logo shows a woman kissing a frog. I tell everybody that I'm the frog. You know what I'm saying? I'm the frog she kissing. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So in her eyes, I'm the prince. Many people say, nah, you ain't no prince. But listen, in my wife's eyes, I'm the prince, and she think I'm really funny, even though I'm not no comedian. But you gonna laugh at your joke, but it's funny. You know what I'm saying?
I said what up as well, please, man.
Yeah. But it was good, you know what I'm saying, that we have these conversations, and I welcome this all the time, because I think that we need to get a little deeper with that, and really as a community, we can actually build. We don't need a handout from the government.
No.
If we basically work together,
no.
I think that's it right there. We do that, we're rich.
Hey, Dredd, man, you just ran us into the next segment. Here go the next segment, y'all.
The National Action Network, led by Reverend Al Sharpton, recently marched on Wall Street to highlight economic inequality. But critics argue the protest misses the core issue. Wall Street doesn't write laws, politicians do. And while Wall Street has a history tied to slavery, Black America today has gone from being sold as enslaved people to becoming the country's largest consumers, yet with little ownership. Despite spending $1.7 trillion annually, only 39% of black families invest in stocks, compared to 66% of white families. In Westchester County, black residents make up nearly 15% of the population, but own just 3% of businesses. Commentators also point to politicians like Zohran Mamdani, whose policies promote dependency rather than independence, as a distraction from the need for entrepreneurship and ownership. As one critic put it, faith without works is dead, and protests without investment are empty. We have to stop shouting at the bull and learn how to ride it.
Just what you said. We got to get away from being independent with all this money. And you know what? And it's crazy. It's like they know we are the country's largest consumers.
Mm-hmm. But you know how the other groups built their wealth. They recycled their dollars in their community. Yeah. Their dollars went through the community like 6, 7, 8 times before it left the community. Our dollars come in and go right back out the same day. We don't recycle them in our community. We don't support each other. We don't. So you know, they got this guy. He's the doctor. You know, they all go to him. They got this person that's the farm. They all go to them. They got this person that is the handyman. They all go to him, and they all support each other, and they keep that money in their community.
But see now, the comedy show is being sponsored also by a place called Live Up Juice Bar.
Okay.
Oh yes, I know. With them.
Okay. Yeah. So I go there all the time. Even though they're sponsoring, I go and I'm buying, you know, the patties, the juices, stuff like that. So basically, I leave my tip. You know, I don't have to. Now he has something in his backyard. He has some callaloo. So I go because Makalu gave it to me, and then I said no. I gave him like some money to. He said no, Dre, you don't give me anything. No. It took you time to do so. I want to be able to do that. I want to come here and I want to buy stuff from you and go out my way to buy stuff from you because I don't mind you getting rich. You have a business that you put together with your business plan, got your funding, you bought the building, you have tenants there, you're doing your business, whatever. And if I'm going to go spend money to buy some stuff, I'm going to go to you to buy stuff. I want to have to see Damon, AJ, brother. I want to be able to see you make money. I want to be able to go see you get rich. I can't be selfish, but like I'm not going to give you my money. What's happening, the reasons why we can't get past that point, because we don't want to see each other get money.
Right.
Go there. We got to get past that. We get past that, that's a big accomplishment.
Everybody wants to see you do good, but not better than them. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. I want to welcome my brother Martin, man. Martin Dolan, welcome to the show.
All right.
You know.
All right now.
Now
he was promoting his appearance for the last couple of hours. I've got so many beeps and dings from him promoting that he was going to be on the show.
Well, we can't hear you, Martin.
You must be muted. Are you muted? Yeah, he's muted.
All right, how about that?
Yeah,
that's good.
Okay, yep. You got me now. Man, hi AJ, hi Damon. Good to be back with you guys.
Yes. I wanted you to come on, man, because I wanted you to give us. I'm about to play this little video on Eric staying in the race, and I definitely wanted you to come on and talk about, you know, the feelings that's going on in the 5 boroughs and even the Democratic Party. Oh, we lost him. Yeah, he's in transit.
Did you announce that Jim stepped out the race that we had on the show?
I didn't even get to that. I didn't even write.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah. Let's do the video real quick because I know you're still in transit. So I just want to and thank you for.
No, you go right ahead. I'm in good shape now. I had a long flight, but I got where I got to get to.
Oh, okay. Good. Uh-oh.
The audio.
I don't know what happened. All right. Well, anyway, Eric Adams. There were rumors that the Trump administration offered Eric Adams, an ambassador to Saudi Arabia, to come out of the race. And the rumors was also that I think President Trump or the Trump administration offered Curtis Sliwa a job also to come out the race. Eric did a press conference, said that he wasn't going nowhere. What's the feeling, Martin, down in the boroughs, man, of this mayor race, man, because it's all over the place?
I think there's a lot of frustration. I think there's a lot of anxiety. My own view, I'm going to tell you from my perspective, is I think it should be a one-on-one race. Now, I don't know how you get there, but I think this city is aching to have a one-on-one vote on socialism. Because I think what happens is you got to think about elections as elections aren't a game. They're the way that we get consent from the governed. So if you have a mayor elected with 35%, on the first day, then you got 65% of the people who didn't vote for them. And then they become there's a resentment and you get a lame duck. And then that's what we had a lot in New York. So the fix for that was ranked choice voting in the primary. Now, we don't have it in the general election. So I think people are very frustrated because there's this feeling that we're going to end up with another minority percentage elected mayor who's not supported by a majority of the people, whether that's Cuomo, Adams, Sliwa, or Mamdani. And I was trying to think about it, like, what would I say if I was public advocate, which is what I'm running for. What I would say is, I think it's in the interest of the people that there's a one-to-one vote on socialism. Do we want more socialism or less socialism? I think it's like a kind of a, remember when there was Ali Frazier and then there was George Foreman and we trying to figure out who was the champ. And finally we figured out who the champ was. So we can't go on with 30% of the people or 35% of the people feeling like they're not happy because they didn't get what they wanted, and 60 to 65% of the people thinking that they're not happy with what they got. So that's, I think, the feeling in the boroughs, which is people are very frustrated. And as far as it relates to Mayor Adams, I don't know. I don't think any of us know what's going on. I think you could have President Trump could be just kind of playing a game here, or he could be negotiating with Mayor Adams. And we still have a little time, but not much, because they're going to start printing ballots, mailing absentee ballots in about a month.
Yeah.
So,
but he said he wasn't going anywhere. I mean, in that press conference, he said he was gonna stay in the race. And as AJ said earlier, Walden announced that he was coming out and he was writing on the Board of Elections to take his name off the ballot, make sure his name was not on the ballot. So
what I can tell you as a candidate is that the people who, Eric's going to run out of money. That's the problem, because when you have low polls, the donors say, well, what am I going to give you? What am I going to give you more money for at 12% in the polls or 9% in the polls? And so then your funding dries up, and then he's got another decision to make, because then the advertisers and the vendors will stop taking his credit, and then it's a squeeze play. It just gets worse and worse. So I think this decision is going to be made for Eric by the donors. I think the donors are going to call him and say, Eric, there's no more money for this, and but he may wait so late that he misses out on a good job, because if
I would have took the job.
Yeah, I would take the job if I was him. Because
I'm just being honest, because if he could have got a guarantee from the White House that at least he would have stayed until the next presidential election, the heat that was brought on Eric, and some of it is fault of the New York State Democratic Party. I'm going to keep it 100. They never liked Eric. He was too masculine for them. They didn't like a masculine black man. It is what it is. You
Hold
know,
on, let me take the other side of that, because that's something I want to talk about, which is I think we're talking. This show is, I don't know what this show is called, Black Westchester. But I know that's kind of the angle we're coming from. I think I like Eric as he's a very charismatic guy. I've spent time with him, but he screwed up.
Absolutely.
And the way
I didn't get to that part.
Hold on. The way he screwed up was understandable, which is New York's $115 billion entity, and he went around and appointed all of his best friends to run the city.
No. They wasn't his best friends. That's the problem. Those guys that he put around him wasn't messing with Eric when he was in 100 Blacks in law enforcement. I was there. Those are not the people he should have had around him. And I'm saying this on air. I'm telling you.
Well, let me say it a different way. Which is he had a great chance when he was mayor, and if he put the
wrong people around him.
He picked the wrong people around him.
I'm agreeing with you, because when I saw who he appointed, who he had around him, I called people in the city. I'm like, what's wrong with Eric? What is wrong with Eric? When he was the chair of the Grand Council of Guardians, when he was working as a captain in NYPD, those same people that was around him didn't want anything to do with Eric. And I'm saying this, and whoever's watching can watch it, can send it to Eric. I've known Eric most of my life. So they were not his friends, and they were better people. And what happened to Ingrid Martin was atrocious. And she was the mastermind behind Eric's campaigns from the beginning all the way till he got up to mayor. They knew going after Ingrid, bringing them crazy charges on her, was part of the whole game.
Yeah, but you gotta look back to the fact that the guy. We're not here to have a trial on Eric Adams, but the guy.
No. We're just having some good discussion, because some of these things need to be said.
You have to say
your point that they didn't like him because he was too masculine. The problem was he couldn't keep good commissioners. He had 7 police commissioners, and the guy was a cop. So
you know why? No. You know why? Because Banks, nobody wanted. Banks was running the police department,
right? And
that was the problem,
right?
That was the problem right there. He was letting Banks, instead of putting a commissioner in place, letting the police. And let me tell you, I can't see any police commissioner that's going to have a good time being appointed by a mayor that was a police officer. That's a nightmare scenario.
But let's just put this. Let me put this in the sporting world context, which is the guy did not get the job done.
No, we know that because
you guys are missing something though.
What?
You guys are missing something. You guys are going back on what is being heard and what's dictating to us by not knowing the full facts and stuff. That's why.
No. What I'm talking about with Eric is facts.
But what I'm trying to explain too is that he's not going to drop out. When people wanted him to drop out back when he was going through all that scandal and stuff like that, he did not drop out, and he's still mayor. So he's going to go through all of that what's happening right now. The fact that what's going on with him has always been a sabotage by people trying to take having another black man as a mayor, dictating to you what he wants to get done. A lot of black people don't want to even do that. Much as some white people don't want to even take that information from a black man who has the power. And he's going to be a one-term mayor, when a lot of times when black mayors before him put into policies that Bloomberg used to benefit New York City.
No,
you're right. So
you're right.
I think they're trying to force him out of office, thinking that that's what will happen. It's not going to happen. He's going to have pennies coming through the door to support him all the way until he loses. And Cuomo just wants to be a figurehead, because he's trying to fight back from being governor. If that was the case, then stay in the race as governor, fight through that you was a single governor that wanted to make a pass at a young lady, and you stunk her. So what? Take up that responsibility, fight, and don't get out. Don't get out and now want to jump back in
Well, that's Cuomo. Well, that's Cuomo's MO. My thing with Eric is that you know that you have an uphill battle. You put the proper people in place, the people that he had around him, and I knew all of them. Right? I'm not talking hearsay. I'm talking, I know who these Negroes were. Right? And they didn't mess with Eric when Eric was out here, when Eric was having press
let me
conferences.
suggest another way we could talk here tonight. So I'm running for public advocate, and that's hard enough. So trying to run for mayor when I'm not on the ballot, when I'm running for public advocate, it's what happens in our campaign for public advocate is everybody wants to talk about the mayor race, and I don't have, I'm not here to dictate what happens with Eric or the other candidates. I think, and this is the problem, which is people get too fixated on the personalities, but not on the problems of New York and the policies. And that's what I want to talk about if you give me 2 minutes, which is I think what happens with the voters is they see this as they want this person or they want that person. But the reality is what New York needs is to go back to basics and have some good policies for the people. That's what they need.
No, well, yeah, but how are you going to get it? How are you going to get it?
I think we really need the voters to focus on what the candidates are saying they're going to do, and that's asking a lot because most voters just think about a personality. They think about their own biases, whether they're black or white or whether they're socialist or whether they're, they just think about it from their perspective. But if you just step back and you imagine that you're hovering over this city of 8 million people, you got to figure out what you think is wrong with it and how to fix it. And I'd like to talk for a minute, if I could, about what I think we need to do that.
Oh, all right.
Okay, so my central thing is that we have a culture of dependency in the city. And then the second thing is you get politicians who just want to feed that culture and they give away this and give away that and not accept responsibility for what their jobs are. So somebody has to say that. Not a very popular thing to say, but you got 51 city council members who are just trying to get all the things they can for their district. You have a mayor who just tries to keep people happy. What we need to focus on is making our people smarter. By that I mean we have public schools that are producing 25-year-olds, 21 to 25-year-olds who aren't really prepared to succeed in the modern world. Now, when that happens, the city ends up taking care of them for the next 50 years. And that's a cardinal sin because the education of our young people is a central responsibility of the city. So what the city does is instead they talk about Israel, or they talk about racism, or they talk about socialism, or they talk about, whatever is on the cover of the New York Post. But the reality is we're producing an assembly line of 25-year-olds who are not prepared to be successful in life. And the cost of that, it's tragic for them. But the cost for the city's budget is staggering. And so what happens then is that the cost of taking care of people, like, fixing a problem later is getting it right at the start. The cost gets so high that it crowds out every city budget. And that's why the whole city looks like shabby. It looks like it's not working because all the budgets are we're taking care of people who we didn't take care of. So just round numbers, you got 1 million kids in New York City schools, and half of them cannot read, write, or do math at what's called a grade level. Now, you tell me, how does it feel if you're a kid in the city? You've been given, New York City schools spend $500,000 on kids from kindergarten to 12. You get out of school And the only way you're getting a job at JP Morgan or Google, the only way you're going through that door is on a delivery bike, delivering DoorDash. That's your entire life is gone because of low standards.
Well,
and so
yeah, I
so hold on,
honestly
let me
agree.
finish. And what the socialists are saying is, we're going to give you cheap potatoes
Exactly.
and a bus pass.
That's right.
And
Exactly.
I'm like bullshit.
That's right.
Bullshit. You are destroying lives.
That's right. That's
And
true.
nobody's and people are worried about,
That is true.
that the mayor's at zero bond. And you're like, we have a
But
nobody
here's
nobody
the
knows their job.
problem. Here's the problem. That's the mindset. That has become the mindset. That has become the mindset of the Democratic Party.
Yes.
I mean,
They'll tell you everything. It's good, that they can't figure out how to run a public school, but they know the answer to Israel. And you're like,
right. Yeah.
So, really?
There are so many young people today that's lost and unprepared for the world. And they're out here joining gangs because they're not going to join the army. They're going to join a gang. They're going to be on the street. We're going to spend all this cash to put them through these schools and push them through, and they can't sustain themselves out in the world. And there's millions of young people out here going through that and they're not tackling that. And then we talked about earlier, they want to go in and fund these wars.
Exactly.
100%. And I am super pissed off about it.
Yeah.
I'm the only person who's super pissed off about it. So, and then let's say for me, you got to dig in further. Now you're a doctor. You're trying to figure out how do we solve this problem? You got to go back to when the kids are 10 or 12 years old. And you got to look at everything in their environment. You got to look at the schools. You got to look at okay, it's really great. And AJ, I bought all your books about the history of rap. It's this romantic idea that, we took all the musical instruments out of school, and then the kids were they invented rap. But you can't take all the music programs out of school. You can't take all the sports programs out of school. You can't take all the things that form a young person, all the older role models, without it turning into devastating consequences for the kids. I'm going to tell you a great story, which is when I was 10 years old, and I grew up in Westchester. I grew up in a good school district, and I was a little kid. And the 5th grade social studies teacher, he was the high school track coach, and he looked at me. He's like, you're gonna be a runner, and I was like, okay. I had somebody looking after me for the next 5 years, and then when I was 20, I had learned responsibility. I had role models. I had all the stuff that you need to make a good 20 to 25-year-old, and I had a better chance. The kids coming out of these schools and these neighborhoods, and it's a mixture of things. I'm not saying I have the answer, but I'm saying as public advocate, I don't give about Israel. I don't give it about immigration. I care about taking care of our people. And if you turn out bad 25-year-olds on an assembly line, not bad, but ones who aren't prepared, you blow up the budget 20 years later, and it's a human tragedy. And when I'm public advocate, I'm not going to have a list of top 10, bad landlords. I'm not going to turn this into a whole, racial conspiracy. I'm going to get an office in the worst 10 schools in New York City. I'm going to go to one on Monday and one on Tuesday and one until we fix the fucking schools.
Well, that's
the job.
Yeah, that's everywhere, brother, and that's going to leeway us into why people are leaving both parties and becoming independent voters.
Yo, I'm about to run.
The Democratic Party is facing a voter registration crisis that cannot be ignored. According to recent reports, Democrats have lost more than 2 million registered voters since 2020, while Republicans gained about 2.4 million. The biggest shift, however, is toward independence. Over 3 million new voters chose not to affiliate with either party. This trend is especially striking in battleground states like North Carolina, where Republicans erased nearly all of the Democratic registration edge from 2020. Younger voters, once a reliable Democratic bloc, are also drifting away. In 2018, nearly 2/3 of new registrants under 45 picked the Democratic Party. By 2024, Republicans held the majority. Even in cities under long-time Democratic leadership, voters see failing schools, high costs, and persistent crime. Promises of more programs funded by higher taxes ring hollow after billions already spent show little measurable progress. Inequality exists, but voters no longer trust Democrats to fix it. Many aren't turning Republican, they're choosing to be independent.
So I'm going to. So we're looking at, unfortunately, as they continue, as we continue this conversation, I believe that the Democratic Party moving forward is going to have a problem. They have an identity problem. People are moving out of blue states, and more people are becoming independent. You know, like when I posted this article, you know, people were going off about Republicans, and I guess they didn't even read the article because majority of people are becoming independent. They're not even becoming associated with Republicans or Democrats. But even though Democrats are registering more right now, you know, Democrats have an identity problem, and they're going to have to fix it, you know. And if Mandami wins, in New York, I don't know what's going to happen, man, because that's not going to be like, it's not going to be a sentiment of how the rest of America looks at politics. Alan?
I mean, I think that, well, much success to him in the race for public advocate. I'm curious. I mean, I have a question regarding Mandami. I think I saw a post that somebody had put where it showed all of his team, and his team looked like they all came from Gramercy.
Exactly.
From that portion of the city. It don't really look like a comprehensive outline, but you're absolutely right. And the fact that it is in the largest city, communication is up, is mega attraction, because from out here out west, all you see is Mandami attracts younger voters, younger white voters, and Eric Adams is kind of a shadowy GOP figure, where he's leaning more onto the Trump side of positioning, and yet all Trump has to do is put a sentence out, as the gentleman was saying, hey, if it's a two-person race, Eric would probably win, or if it's Cuomo would beat Mandami if it's a two-person race. I don't know. I'm ready to hear from you all what you all think.
Well, I think it should be. Hey, Martin, there's an echo coming from your phone. There's an echo. There's like something like sounds like you're in a tunnel. But I think there should be a one-on-one race. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I mean, if the deal was real, if the deal was real, I don't know what's going on. I can't even mute this dude's mic. If I'm going to take it off for a minute. If the deal was real, I'm going to let me see. Oh, there you go. You sound better. If the deal was real, I would have took it, because two things is going to happen. One, the pendulum is going to swing back. I mean, Mandami's win is going to take New York politics so far left. Not even the Democrats in Westchester is going to be ready for that, or the rest of the state. And it's going, and the pendulum is going, because Mandami's going to be a one-termer. You know, I mean, they're talking about legalizing prostitution in New York and all types of stuff. Yeah, right. Like, this is crazy, bro. This is the stuff that they're talking about. You know,
is that one from you, from Damon and the gentleman? Is there a reason why Hakeem and them have not endorsed anyone yet?
Because of the label, him being a socialist and a leftist. And Hakeem's not going to join them because he's bought and paid by AIPAC. And Mandami's been very outspoken on Israel and the Palestine issue.
So would AIPAC Shakur, that's what we call
Hakeem. Yeah, AIPAC Shakur, absolutely.
Shakur. So would AIPAC Shakur support Eric or Cuomo?
I don't even know, because see, the Democratic Party didn't like, they flipped on Cuomo too. That's how he ended up in that mess.
Ask that gentleman, ask him the questions that we were just saying. I can hear him also.
Well, Alan's asking, where did he go? Oh, he disappeared. Let's see if he comes back in. Well, anyway, man, like that's going to be one of the biggest problems with this New York mayor race. Oh, he's coming back in. Let's see what happens.
I don't know what happened there.
Yeah. So Alan asked the question, you know, why do you think that Hakeem Jeffries is taking this long to endorse Mandami?
It's because he's not sure that he's a good candidate.
Would he support? Do you think Hakeem would support Eric or Cuomo, or he would just be silent until November?
You know, again, we're talking about the mayor race, which I'm happy to talk about, but I think it's like what we're having is like there's a new baby being born, which is there's a new Democratic Party being born, and it's very painful. So the party split between this, what I would call the radical left and the centrists. I'm a centrist Democrat. I think Hakeem Jeffries is a centrist Democrat, and the problem is that what I saw about the video you were showing was the Democrats who are leaving the party are not the radicals, it's the centrists, and they're leaving because of the radicals. And I'm going to give you a couple of names that you'll be familiar with some of these. So there was a guy named Barry Goldwater. Barry Goldwater made it possible for Ronald Reagan to exist. Right. Then there was a guy. Then there was a guy you'll know named Jesse Jackson. Mm-hmm. Jesse Jackson made it possible for Barack Obama to exist. In England, there was a guy named Neil Kinnock. Neil Kinnock was the head of the Labour Party. He made it possible for Tony Blair to exist. So my perspective on this is what you're seeing is AOC, Sanders, Mamdani, they're all going to be gone in 5 years, but they're going to make it possible for the new version of leadership to exist, because the way the United States Constitution is set up, the way people are set up is, especially this came from James Madison and Alexander Hamilton, was you got to have 55 to 60% of the people behind you. It's that simple. Now, the radical ideas only have like 15 to 20% of the people behind them. And, with all due respect to Reverend Jackson, he was not a well-rounded political figure like Barack Obama was. He was never going to be popular with 55 to 60% of the people, the same way that Tony Blair wasn't going to be popular and that Barry Goldwater wasn't going to be possible. So we're going through a process that, as a party, that only the older people, like not many advantages of being older, but we've seen this before in politics, which is this is giving birth. This is really painful. So if I was Hakeem Jeffries, I would not endorse Mamdani. I would wait and see what happens because we don't know the result of this election yet. And if Mamdani is elected, Hakeem Jeffries is still the minority leader of the House. They can fix that later. If he's not elected and it's Cuomo or it's Adams or Sliwa, well, you know, Hakeem Jeffries has got bigger fish to fry than worrying about. The problem is that in the Democratic Party, there's no consensus on what the good policies are. So, for example, what I just put for you, I call myself the leader of the New Progressives. Now, the New Progressives, we're not aiming for 25% of the people to keep them happy. We're trying to get 60 to 70 to 80% of the people. So if I go out there and I tell New Yorkers, I want to make the schools better, well, nobody's going to be against that. Everybody would say that's a great idea. Okay. And I'm going to give you another thing I'm working on, which is I'm proposing no taxes, 0 for young people. And I'm proposing that we give away public housing to the residents of NYCHA. And when I say give away, I mean it's yours, not the management. I'm talking about ownership of the apartments.
Because but you have to teach them. I don't think that's a good idea.
Well, hold on. Let me finish before.
I don't teach them. You know, you have to, because the first, before you become an ownership, you have to have an ownership mindset. And if they're not taking care of their building, they're not making sure that their buildings are safe, their housing areas is a safe place to live, and they are the owners. I don't think that's. I get it. I understand it.
I understand where you're going with this, and let me tell you about. I had this really crazy day one day when I was campaigning, when I was running for the Jamal Bowman seat. I was in the Bronx, and I was in Vernon, and I was in the worst of the projects in the Bronx. Not the worst, but like the toughest ones. And you know what you're saying is what people have been saying about, quote unquote, those people or you people for decades, which is, oh, they can't do it.
No, I'm not saying they can't do it. I'm saying that they have to be taught.
Yes.
They have to be taught the value, because if you're not making your community safe, now, ain't no, look, when we talk about Chicago, when we talk about these areas, there's no Republican doing shootouts and all that. I'm telling you straight out like that. Mount Vernon, ain't no Republican coming there doing all that stuff. When I lived in Mount Vernon, wasn't Republican children shooting each other on the street. So you have to teach them the value of that.
You are going to
give it to them.
Your community is going to teach that. When I saw this when I lived in England was when they privatized everything. Thatcher came in and said, we have a 90% tax rate. This country is going nowhere. I'm giving away British Airways. I'm giving away British Telecom. I'm giving away everything. And if you want to participate in the upside, learn about it and invest. And the country took off after that. What's holding back New York is the lack of ownership and accountability in people's lives.
Yes.
So, what I'm saying specifically, I'll give you an example, is let's say you have an apartment, not even a great apartment, but let's say it's a $150,000 apartment. It's on the 20th floor of Castle Hill. You know, it's not Beverly Hills. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give the people who live there, if those who've been there for 10 years and they haven't been a problem, you know, they're kind of, I'm going to say for $150,000, I'm giving you a $40,000 voucher and an $80,000 mortgage. Now, you can take the equity, in which case you own $70,000 of equity in a $150,000 apartment, or you can sell your $40,000 voucher to your neighbor if he wants to have 2 apartments and put them together. You can sell it to a developer, or I'll give you $40,000 cash, and then that's it. You're no longer in public housing. You go off to wherever you're going to
take they're going to take the $40,000 cash because they don't understand. They have to be taught Like, you have to change a culture, right? We as Black people, you got to teach us.
Yeah,
right?
well,
Because
that's
we have to be taught first, because that same person in the projects got a closet with $90,000 sneakers.
well, that's
So they got 90,000, but it's in sneakers.
okay. That's why I'm calling myself the leader of the new progressives, because this what Mamdani and AOC are doing is they're saying we're going to keep you down, and then we're going to give you free buses and potatoes.
No, and you're right.
I want you to have what I have, which is
but you have to, and that's
what I think what he's also indicating, you have to create what we call partnerships, but those partnerships need to be placed in with, even Damon, you understand what I'm about to say. If you are going to be a partner, then you're going to partner with people that might not be what we would call safe bets. You're going to partner with people who understand the inner city and understand, as you were just indicating, we've got to prepare a group of persons to receive this opportunity.
Yes.
And to grow off of the opportunity.
Yes.
Because, like we said, a fool in his money or his fool in his opportunity will soon part. But if you provide that knowledge and the partnership, and don't be afraid if media and other groups come out, I love your idea, but I don't want you partnering with the Nation of Islam. I don't want you partnering with the Black Hebrew Israelites. I don't want you to partner with the progressive Black churches. I don't want you to partner with strong political leadership in those areas.
Let me give you just one example. There's already rules in real estate that apply to, I don't know what it's called, but it's called something like the senior citizen law. Now, in the senior citizen law, what happens is if you buy a house from somebody 75 years old or 70 years old, they have to have a heavily regulated advisor, because, the old people, soon I'll be one of them. They don't have all their, they don't know what they're doing sometimes. So we're going to copy that law into this thing. And what I'm saying is, you can't have good schools and you can't have an income mentality so long as you have 800,000 people living in public housing.
Agreed.
I agree that. I agree.
You got to say, I'm going to fix it at the core, which is, I don't care how much money it costs. And by the way, let me give you another trick, because I worked for 35 years on Wall Street. For the budget of New York State, this is a gain. It's a gain, because what happens is the projects were built so long ago, they're on the books at zero.
Right.
So when I give $40,000 and I had an $80,000 mortgage, well, I just put $80,000 on my books. I just basically, I'm good to go now. And so
listen,
we need to take this whole city and go back to basics, which is people are going to own or they're going to rent. We're not going to take care of them forever.
No, I agree. I agree.
Schools are going to be good. And then the last part is about we skipped over the first thing, which is I want 10 to 12-year-olds, teachers, to tell them, listen, you got until age 25. You're not paying any income tax. So that when you go to work at McDonald's and you earn your first $200 and they take out $70, all those $70 are going to accumulate for 10 years. So by the time people are 25, I want them to have $25,000 in their pocket.
Well, how you going to do that? That's isn't that a state?
We're going to sit down with the state and make it happen, because
we can't even get them to rectify property taxes, the sham of property taxes.
This is income tax, because the first thing we got to do is we got to set people's pants on fire to be working and saving money when they're young. Because
I think you have to have an education component, and I think you should put I think it should be an education component, even when getting those apartments, that whoever's on that lease has to go through a trade course or something that will make enough money
Yeah.
that they're able to maintain that apartment. See, it's one thing you could give it to them, but
so the day that,
it'll just look like NYCHA again,
okay,
because
so
they won't have the money or have the mindset to maintain it.
the day that I got this idea was a day when I was petitioning on Bruckner Boulevard in Castle Hill, and then I was invited by Sean Patterson Howard to Mount Vernon High School, where she was hosting a seminar on real estate. This was a Sunday. People in Mount Vernon went to that seminar. Like 600 people went there. And I understand that the community in Mount Vernon is different than the community in the South Bronx, but it's not that different. And they had 600 people showing up there saying, how do I learn about real estate? Because, and they went through every program. They said, with $8,000 down, you can get a 3-story house and you can buy it and then you can rent it. And they were there. All the banks were there. I don't believe in the you people thing. The people in Mount Vernon aren't that different than the people in the Bronx. And a lot of people in Mount Vernon own rental properties. So what will happen is when I talk about a failure of leadership, what I'm saying is you have to lead a city of 8 million people.
Absolutely.
You have to put a bold plan like this and stop talking about Israel and stop talking about illegal immigration.
Well, they're going to keep talking about Israel because AIPAC pays everybody. The only people that pay more than AIPAC is Big Pharma. Big Pharma make AIPAC look like a bum, right? So, I mean, another conversation is how do we get this money out of politics? And AIPAC pays Republicans and AIPAC pays Democrats. And, when I watched the mayor race, it was about Israel. It wasn't even anything about anything that was going on in the city.
It was disgusting because then you say, look, you could go, the schools. You could go to any school and you see it's just not what it should be. And the problem goes back to a lack of accountability in the teachers union, from the parents sending their kids to the school. And if you don't educate people right from the age of 10 to 18, they're not ready to go when they're 25.
No, absolutely not.
And you pay for that.
That's the problem.
Their lives, and you pay for it as a
right. But look at the school system. Look at the school system in New York State. Look at we're not preparing our children. We're not preparing our children for AI. We're not preparing our children for the trades. Right? We're not. We got rid of music. Our kids are fat and unhealthy in school.
You need to put back programs, the after-school programs. You got to change the formula in the Bronx. So the South Bronx is calculated differently than Riverdale. And, it's one of these things, like I studied businesses for 40 years. One of the things that you learn is that anytime you have people do, like you have 50 people cutting firewood, whatever they're doing, 50 people doing things, there's always somebody who does it well, and there's always somebody who doesn't do it well. And so then you study, like, well, what is the guy doing well who does it well? And then you take those lessons, and the school's not doing that. So we have schools in New York City. There are good schools in New York City, and there are bad schools. What we need to do is figure out but that's what the public advocate needs to do. The public advocate needs to get his head out of his you-know-what, stop walking around with a Knicks medallion saying that you should glorify the Knicks. You got to fix the schools. That's your job. Your job is to make sure that the resources of the city are properly applied. And people love this guy. And they're like, well, who are you? I'm like, I'm the guy that's going to actually do the job and not going to sit around like a child wearing a medallion.
Right. Well, on that note, it's time to go. We over. Thank you, my brother. Is there any website people can go to check you out, man?
Go to martydolan.org and martydolan.org. And, we can make the city better. We just have to vote for people who that's their goal.
Right. Hey, we and look, it has to be a united effort because I think things are going to get worse before it gets better. You know, and that's part of nature.
Well, if you vote for me, I'll drive up to see you in person, and we'll do the show in person. And
Yeah. Well, I can't vote for anybody. I'm listen. I'm too far up, man. I can't even do it.
Yeah.
But
right.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Be safe and hope everything goes well.
Thank you for your time and interest. Appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Well, man, listen.
Man, this was a stone groove, my man.
Yes, sir. I want to thank everybody that was watching. I have to apologize. You know what? I didn't know Martin was still running. Didn't even know he was still running. I honestly thought I knew he was in the primary, and I just wanted him to come on. We always gotta have different points of view.
Yep.
You know, and I mean that creates the conversation, and that's what we're trying to do, trying to get different people with different points of view to come on. You know, it gets boring when everybody has the same point of view. You know, so that's what we're trying to do. I want to thank everybody that's watching, man. I want to thank you, Brother Allen, man, for coming and supporting everything. And please go to blackwestchestermerch.shop and support us. We got some real nice t-shirts. I got one on the New York Blacktastic
I have to grab mine.
Man. Yeah.
And you got long sleeve joints too, or just short?
Some of them are long sleeve.
Okay.
Yeah, some of them are long sleeve. Yeah, we getting cold out.
Yeah.
And it's getting cold out, man. You know, so tomorrow is the Black Economy. So check out the Black Economy tomorrow. I don't even know what we're gonna be talking about tomorrow. And on Wednesday is
I think you should go deeper tomorrow into Wall Street and the desire to beg Wall Street.
Yeah, I talked about that last week.
A couple of more naps.
I talked about that last week. You know, I think I'm going to talk about the tech and black businesses and us being in the tech and needing to be in the tech industry, because I think that's definitely Wednesdays is Wellness Wednesdays, and then Thursdays we got Motivational Thursdays, and I got something new happening on SoundCloud is the morning cheat code. So for every morning, people can get and get the morning cheat code for the day. Is motivational, inspirational, spiritual. It takes 5 minutes a day, instead of going on Instagram and Facebook and looking at craziness. Get some alignment first, and then start your day. So every day it's on SoundCloud at Damon K Jones, man. And definitely, man. I want to thank everybody, for
remember the tech piece that you saw with Trump and everybody around the table is much larger in terms of a production than what many of us think.
Oh, absolutely.
Much larger than that.
Absolutely. Right. Absolutely.
They are literally going to reshape the structure by which communications, devices, organized thoughts, data, all become part of your day-to-day, with those persons being the owners of all of that. Until we collectively group ourselves together, and I'll be honest, and this is something else that we probably need to mention, none of these folks will take us seriously until we look at ourselves and say, since we cannot live with these folks in peace, companies, businesses, jobs, I'm not saying they don't mean anything. That's not what I mean. But companies, businesses, and jobs are greater respected when we have our own land to put those companies, businesses, and jobs on.
Right. Right.
Because operating within this dangerous land
No.
with all the fires and bullets and knives and bombs and you calling the regular police to come help you out, it's like, look, man.
Listen, we don't. I don't understand, man, because we have to. We sometimes and though the few people watching, we was closing out, but we're just talking. Sometimes I just think it's over, man. Like we missed the point, you know. And it's not like we don't have the blueprint. We had it, Tulsa, all those different Black communities that were thriving business-wise, and we were circling our money. We were doing business with each other. And then when you talk about that, the first thing come out a Negro's mouth is, well, the white man came and burned it down. What's stopping us now from doing it? It's us.
And
it's us.
It's us and understanding the land. The one portion that when I say they, meaning we, don't mention is the role Rockefeller played, because underneath that Tulsa, Oklahoma corridor was untapped kerosene. And at that time, it was like, hey, if I got to do something to tear up that town so that I can go underneath that town and secure and own that kerosene. So in the process, they know how to tell a story.
Right.
We have to get more strategically sophisticated in telling our story so that the story doesn't sound like, once again, we knocking on the door, begging for a seat or begging for a piece of the pie. Some people, that's all they want. I get it. But the day today is not about you and your 18 friends becoming millionaires and everybody else is broke, bummy, ashy, and out of doors. That's over. That's it. That's done.
Yeah. You know what, brother? Since you're here, man, oh my God. And you know what? I didn't think, where is it? Because I want to have this conversation. And I want to see if I could find it, because that the comment, and I love brothers from Earn Your Leisure, but
to me, the most successful
this comment, we have to do better when we're speaking in public and we're giving information that is not correct. And then when people try to correct you and they don't understand it, and they don't understand it themselves, and then it creates a whole new culture out of information that is not true. You know, this young man, I don't know who he is, but I'm going to try to load it up, referred to Malcolm X as one of the greatest businessmen. Malcolm would never call himself a businessman. And when he was traveling, opening up mosques, he was traveling, opening up mosques as a direction of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. We have to get this straight. Like, I don't know where they get. Let me play this, because this is we have to do better in when we talk to people. And then young people, y'all got to listen when older people are trying to give y'all some knowledge.
To me, the most successful Black businessman in America was Malcolm X.
Come on.
It was Malcolm X. He built mosques in every city. He built a newspaper. This man was a Black businessman. The issue is we don't think he was. And they don't teach him like that. That's what black business has to look like to liberate black folks. If you don't have black business like that, you will have black business that's performing for white folks. So you got to...
First, bruh. Bruh. Malcolm did not.
Malcolm say it, or you want to say it? Go ahead.
Malcolm did not own a newspaper. Malcolm didn't own the mosque. He would have been better saying Elijah Muhammad. Brother, my brothers, earn your leisure. Y'all have to do better with some of these people you put on stage, giving these young people false information.
Paint the picture, tell the story, tell the complete whole story so that they don't take the Monarch Notes version and chop it up and make it completely untrue.
Exactly. And then in the thread, when you try to correct them, people are creating another history. They're creating another timeline like Marvel.
What do you call it? The
multiverse. They're creating a multiverse out of some. They just created a whole new multiverse. Well, Malcolm was in partnership with Elijah Muhammad. Who told you that? Who told you that? Mm-hmm. We can't give young people false information and then erase one of the greatest black men that walked the United States of America, Elijah Muhammad. It was easier to say Malcolm X because y'all done watered Malcolm down that you could say Malcolm X instead of saying Elijah Muhammad owned the paper, opened mosques, had trucks and ships and commerce,
cleaners,
exactly,
universities, land, farmland, dairy,
exactly,
produce.
Malcolm had nothing to do with that. It was Elijah's vision. It was Elijah's period.
As an example, so that we could see the fullness of what we can do and graduate as more of what he did. Import, export, like you said, shipping, trains, trucks, automobiles throughout the country, satisfying ourselves for the rest of the world.
Exactly.
And Malcolm benefited from Elijah Muhammad's brain. He benefited
exactly.
Being as the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said. And what do we say? The so-called Negro must be completely made over.
Exactly.
In the state that he is in, he is not fit for self.
Exactly. And listen, I know Rashad, love him to death. He started on the People Before Politics radio show. But they have to do better when putting people up on that stage, giving information to the people, and making new timelines in Black history.
That's right.
We love Malcolm.
Come on,
but we also know it was a man that instructed Malcolm to do all that. Yep. He didn't do it on his own. He didn't just wake up and say, this man said he started a newspaper. That is blasphemy. I don't even know who this guy is because I'm going to find out and I'm going to cut this up and I'm going to tag him.
Wait. And the man, what he was saying was so untrue. He slapped the chair. Like, yeah, you know what I know. It's like, come on with it. Come on. Come on. It was Malcolm.
It was Malcolm that had a newspaper.
Malcolm created.
What are you talking about, man? What are you? We have to see. This is what happens when a lot of these Negroes get platforms, right? They get platforms and they start making things up. I just seen some black Negroes talking about, oh, well, white people have black fatigue because black people talking about black stuff. Black fatigue is not about, y'all stole it. Y'all stole that word from a black woman when she was discussing black fatigue on the years and years of how we've been treated in this country. Y'all want to twist that around. Then you have white liberals taking the word woke from black people. And now it's used as it's just used as a disrespect and disregard of our struggle here in America. Mm-hmm. I'm never going to use racism from where I am now because,
as we would famously say,
the goal is for us to be excellent. You know, I was watching Thomas Sowell, and he said back in the day, you would go to a black doctor because you know that black doctor had to be 3 times as good to be a doctor.
And they
Did I lose you?
No, I'm here. And they took woke and made woke into a quote unquote snap out of it moment. I think I lost you. Hey, folks around the world and throughout the United States, if you're listening to Black Westchester, you're always in for a treat. Support, subscribe, purchase Black Westchester, Blacktastic shirts, merchandise. Let's build up this portion of New York City and northern New York City and bring that to the fullness of this map.
Woo! Hey, man, we disappeared. Man,
I just did a commercial for you.
They shut the whole thing down, bro. I think we're getting too hot.
Yeah, let's we
got called. We got to call it a day. Yeah, I guess
we'll hit our own chair and like, bam, see? See?
Wait, let me play this again, man. Let me play this again. Man, this is, look.
To me, the most successful black businessman in America was Malcolm X.
Come on.
It was Malcolm X. He built mosques in every city. He built a newspaper. This man was a black businessman. The issue is we don't think he was. And they don't teach him like that. That's what black business has to look like to liberate black folks. If you don't have black business like that, you will have black business that's performing for white folks.
They don't teach him like that because he wasn't a black businessman. He wasn't a black businessman.
I don't know who that sister was who was like, come on. I was like, come on, spread more falsehood. Come on.
Exactly.
Ain't all wrong. Keep going.
Listen, they don't teach him like that because he wasn't a black businessman. He was the national representative of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's not a position of business. That's a position of saving lives. What is wrong with young black people? They done made a whole new timeline of Malcolm X.
And all they got to do is say, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad loved Malcolm.
Right.
Loved him. But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad loved God, Master Farad Muhammad, more. And if you are in that line, I got no problem with you. If you hiccup and look past those two.
Exactly.
And talk about Detroit Red.
Exactly. Let me tell you.
Hey, man.
I'm trying to get Captain D on the show. I'm saving that. And I'm gonna say, brother, before we end the show, I just want to play something and I want your response. And I'm gonna play that. He's gonna be like, what?
We'll do that on another evening. When we bring Captain Dennis on, we're gonna be here for 3.5 more hours. We'll be like, come on. Come on. That's it. Peace and love
man.
from the Captain, most definitely.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
We'll
thank you,
back,
brother.
Man.
All right, everybody. I want to thank everybody who's been watching, and I really appreciate your support. And God bless everybody. And we're just gonna go out and pay the bills a little bit. Everybody have a black-tastic night, and see y'all next Sunday. Peace out.
Rep the movement. Get your official Black Westchester merch today. Hoodies, tees, and more at blackwestchestermerch.shop. Wear your voice, make a statement. Damon K. Jones exposes the lies and challenges the gatekeepers in black politics in his powerful book, Emotional Politics and Logical Failure. Black America needs fewer emotions and more outcomes. Our communities deserve better. On sale now, get the book or audiobook on Amazon. From the streets of Westchester to the heart of hip-hop, discover AJ Woodson's powerful collection. Black Westchester, the origin story. We got our own thing. Hip-hop from the 9, 1, 4, and Black Westchester celebrate Black women of Westchester. Available now at blackwestchester.com and on Amazon. Get your copies today. Tolerance is for Cowards by Damon K. Jones. This book is not anti-police. It's pro-community. Discover how the extended policing strategy empowers you to demand real public safety, justice, and accountability from your local police department. Because the black community deserves good policing. On sale now on Amazon and Audible. Discover Jesus and Divine Black Masculinity by Damon K. Jones. This a bold blueprint to restore faith, manhood, and purpose in Black America. Because the black community needs good black men. Available now on Amazon. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like and share it with others who need to hear the truth. And for exclusive content and behind-the-scenes access, join the Black Westchester Magazine YouTube membership club today. Your support helps us keep independent black media strong. Big thank you for the super chat support. We appreciate your help in keeping the conversation and independent black media strong. Black Westchester, it's the news with the black point of view.
This is the People Before Politics show, broadcast every Sunday at 6 p.m. Hosts Damon K. Jones and AJ Woodson bring you the news that impacts our community. Join us for unfiltered, unapologetic coverage of the stories that matter most. Black Westchester Magazine presents the People Before Politics show, the news with the black point of view.